Hello everyone, welcome back to Mossy Earth Field Note channel with me Yudi and Chansa for Coral Project update. Today we are at where we park our boat near the mangrove in Nusa Lembongan, and we want to double check again where we can put the new name for the boat. So I think it's very clear on the last video that the vote goes to Domino from the Domino Fish, the first resident to our restoration project. So we would just want to check is where the positions and maybe the illustrations, where we can put the illustrations and the name, maybe change the color, because we are going to repaint the boat, and maybe as well to do a little bit of maintenance with the boat, because this boat, we've been using it for more than a year now. In this area, when it's low tide, it will be completely dry, so the body of the boat or the bottom part of the boat, they tend to scratch with the rock at the seafloor. For example, like this one is a new scratch, I guess. This need to repair. And yeah, excited for the new name. Recently we took a trip to East Lombok at Gili Lampu and Gili Kondo area, and we took a baseline data of the reef fish abundance and also the coral percentage coverage to compare later if the area is feasible to do our next project. We are at the moment in east side of Lombok in Gili Lampu, and we are going to do 2 dives, and the guys here is preparing tanks for us. The plan for today is we are going to take baseline data for the new restoration sites that we are going to work on next after we finish the one in Nusa Penida. And with us today is Herman. Herman is the lead of diving community in here in Gili Lampu. Halo Bang, apa kabar?
Baik bos, baik.
Makasih, ini udah dibantu prepare untuk divingnya Bang.
Aman, jos.
So with the help of Pokmakwas, is kelompok masyarakat pengawas in Gili Lampu, is translated to English is like the watcher of this community basically. And they also have a diving community, and they dive around this area regularly to do some restorations and to look at how the coral conditions in the area. Saya mau tanya-tanya dong tentang daerah yang di sekitaran Petarando ini Bang. Tutupan karangnya seperti apa tuh Bang?
Kalau tutupan karang di sekitar kawasan Petarando memang cukup meyakinkan, masih bagus ya Bang. Tapi ada beberapa site yang memang rusak oleh bom ikan pada tahun-tahun yang dulu. Setelah tahun 2023 itu bom ikan masih merajalela, sehingga banyak kerusakan di Gili Bidara dan Gili Petagan. Itu yang paling rusak, dan sebagian kecil ada di Gili Kondo, dan itu memang perlu untuk direstorasi Bang.
Untuk bom ikan itu sendiri sampai saat ini gimana Bang? Masih ada yang melakukan praktis itu atau?
Ya, kalau untuk bom ikan sendiri itu masih ada, tapi bukan di kawasan kita. Dia di kawasan Gili Silat, Gili Lawang. Itu masih ada, tapi tak sebanyak yang dulu.
This is the boat that we are going to use for the dive. It belongs to the community, one of the boats that they own, and we are going to dive into that island over there. It will be around 20 minutes to go to the dive sites, and at the moment we are going to prepare the gear and get ready for takeoff. So this area is mostly for snorkeling trips, like the boat in front of us, and the corals around that shallow part is usually the snorkeling point. You can see there a patch of reef sticking out of the water during low tide. And for today we are going to take point transect along this area, like in the deeper part. So to prepare the second site, we've been taking some fish data around the area to compare the fish abandonment when the area is still a rubber patch, and compare it later for when we already deploy the structures and have the coral attached to the structures. So this useful data will be good to determine one key point of the success of these coral restorations. So because we see on the first rubble area the fish population already grow, the fish looks like a lot of fish traffic around the structures as well. So yeah, so we'll be curious to compare this data for later use. I was really exciting when we found the new colonies of fish in the rubble area 1, because this is the first site that we started the project 5 months ago, and this is the fish that actually occupying one spot of coral fragments that grows in the structures. So they're really cool to see, and we counted there are like several, almost like 6 or 7 cloudy damselfish in one spot, and also one lemon damsels, which is really beautiful, like the yellow colors body. And we also find in the different spot, we also find the cloudy damsels, like only 2 of them swimming like together. So they're living in one of the acroporas that grow in the structures. So it's very, very beautiful and very cool to see it live, that they are actually swimming around and like living in the coral structures. So if you are in holiday in Lembongan or you go diving in Nusa Penida, our restoration site is in Puramas. This is the name of a dive site. So if you dive there, you will see our restoration site. As you may know, we only pick the coral fragments from surrounding area. It's naturally broken coral fragments. So we hope when we transplanting the sites, it could grow and mimicking the complexity of the natural ecosystems. And I think that's what we are seeing now with the first rubble area, because in one structures we don't put only one type of fragments, we mix them with what we could find. Some of them are growing fast, like the acropora branching type, and some of them are slower, like the submassive corals, the porites. So sometimes if you look at the structures, they creating a gap between which one is growing faster and which one is growing slower. But I think that's how it's supposed to be, like in the natural ecosystems, because we don't want to monoculture all the area with one type of corals, but we want it to be a complex habitat, like the reef ecosystems. And one of the corals that we found laying around our restoration site is the blue coral, which is we only found out, well, me I only found out that they are actually in their conservation status is threatened. They are in vulnerable status actually, which is very cool, because we also transplant them into our structures, and yeah, so they grow very well because they attach relatively quickly as well, like how they encrust to the structures. Sometimes we use them to connect between structures, like how they I tied one side on one structures and the other side from other structures, so they will basically encrust on both structures together, basically. So pretty cool. apart from the growth of the corals, we also found that the drupellas, they are coral eating snails. They're also been active apparently when we are away. So we found almost like 5 coral fragments that been dying because of the snail was attached to the coral, and they kind of like eating the polyps and like suck the life out of the corals. So some part of it you can see that, so the coral tissue already start dying and it start to be covered with some algae, and the one on the tip, they start still healthy corals, but because of the drupella keep eating it, like on the body part, they start to die. So we've been, last time we were there, we were picking up like 7 drupellas like around, and then we collected them and we put it away from the site. We move it to the deeper area. So I think this is all of the updates on this video, and as usual, thank you for everyone who's following this progress of this project, and thank you for Mossy Earth member for your contribution and support for this project, and also for the extra fun sections. It's really helped us fastening on the restoration progress. And yeah, I think me and Chansa need to get going because it's start to getting high tides. Until next time, guys.